following is a presentation of HBO Sports.
He is boxing's longest reigning current champion.
I am Joe Calzaghe, undefeated.
Who now faces fellow undefeated title holder, Kessler.
You may not know me, but I am a champion.
Not so long ago, this 168-pound unification fight between Wales's Joe Calzaghe and Denmark's Kessler would have gone unnoticed outside of Europe. A title holder since 1997, Calzaghe needed a 2006 conquest of highly regarded American Jeff Lacey to launch his international reputation. Calzaghe begins to hammer it home. The Welsh icon's stature continued to grow as his streak of title defenses reached 20. Within the borders of Denmark lurks an even more unfamiliar national hero.
Kessler dominant in Denmark.
Hailing from a nation with scant boxing history, Kessler's march destruction of then undefeated Librado Andrade thrust his name worldwide. With an aggregate record of 82-0, Calzaghe versus Kessler is no longer just a European novelty. Will Welsh fans witness continued dominance from their local hero?
I'll stay the best in the world.
Or can a Dane travel across the North Sea and make a great statement in hostile territory?
I worked for this fight my whole life.
It's prime time for the 168-pounders. 60,000 fans are expected in Millennium Stadium in Cardiff, Wales, as Joe Calzaghe takes on Kessler next.
Cardiff, Wales for another international installment of World Championship Boxing. Tonight, more than 50,000 fans are expected to fill Millennium Stadium and cheer for Joe Calzaghe from nearby Bagwood as he faces Denmark's Kessler in a matchup of two undefeated fighters, putting their respective titles on the line for clear world supremacy at 168 pounds. It's Europe's version of Leonard Hearns 1 or De La Hoya Trinidad. Two unbeaten fighters, near enough in ability and near enough to the peaks of their respective careers that it's almost impossible to anticipate anything other than a close, competitive, perhaps epic fight. In 116 years of glove prize fighting, never has a battle between two Europeans aroused such excitement and anticipation. They've angled toward each other for more than a year. And now, for Joe Calzaghe and Kessler, the hour of decision arrives. Hello again, everybody. I'm Jim Lampley, and welcome to a scenario and a set of circumstances so vivid in detail that William Shakespeare himself might have been proud to conceive it. An unbeaten Dane against an unbeaten Welshman, 3 nights after All Hallows Eve, before 50,000 zealots on a rugby pitch in Wales for supremacy in the 168-pound weight class all around the world. Just a little bit later on, you'll be hearing from Max Kellerman and Emmanuel Stewart, but we begin with an introduction to the not-so-melancholy Dane in tonight's fight scenario, Denmark's Kessler, who's made the trip here from Copenhagen. This is Denmark, perhaps the most beautiful little country in the world. There's virtually no unemployment here, virtually no crime. In fact, it's hard to imagine anyone getting particularly angry about anything.
You know, Denmark is a small country with 5 million inhabitants, and it's a country with a lot of welfare. It's a country where nothing really bad can happen. People are not very ambitious because you can do without that.
Strange, then, that in this happiest of little kingdoms lives one of boxing's fiercest fighters.
Kessler is putting on a show.
Like most kids in Denmark, Kessler's first sport was soccer. But by age 13, he wanted something different. and asked his mother if she'd take him to the local boxing gym.
And then we got there and the trainer said, okay, come on, change your clothes, get out there. He was horrible. I thought he was a horrible person to put in the way. My poor little baby boy.
Most of Kessler's friends, fearful of the violence in boxing, were not allowed to try the sport.
Once he got some blood on him, on his shorts, and I didn't like that.
She wasn't that afraid like my other friends' mothers.
No, I'm not afraid. But you explained to me once about it. You said, the art of boxing is not to get hit. And that was quite simple, you know.
Yeah.
As a teenage amateur, Kessler dominated. By 16, he was European youth champion. Soon after, he began thinking about turning professional and quitting his day job.
I was a mechanic for 2.5 years. But, you know, I saw the old mechanics and everything, and I didn't want to be that.
So Kessler quit. His co-workers at the Mercedes-Benz factory thought that was a big mistake.
They always told me, you're just a stupid boxer, you're not gonna be anything, you know. They were bullshitting also, of course. But you know, I took it in, you know, and then I thought, I'm gonna be something, you know, something special.
Mikkel Kessler dominant in Denmark.
Kessler's extraordinary success, 39 professional wins with no defeats, has made him Denmark's biggest sports star. Last year, he was voted Athlete of the Year. To escape the limelight and high Danish taxes, Kessler lives most of the year in Monaco. When he returns to Denmark to train for fights, he keeps a low profile and spends his free time catching up with old friends.
The last year he was the greatest sportsman in Denmark.
And we got nothing to be proud about. We just talk about Mikkel.
That's good. Now we're here with the football fields. I played football when I was a young kid. Right by here, I actually have my motorbike in the shop here. In the summertime in Denmark, I can go for a ride on my bike, and that's what I enjoy the most.
Kessler's parents are no longer together, but he remains close to both. His mother, with whom he shares a special morning ritual, lives a short walk from his Copenhagen apartment.
When Mikkel's in Denmark, he comes down here and has breakfast, you know.
As much as possible.
Yeah, and then we hear all about what he's been doing and everything. It's quite exciting, actually, having a well-known son.
His mother was always there, his father has always been there, his comrade and his friend, and his pretty safe surroundings where nothing tough happens. He never do anything that people could be jealous or something like that, because he's just a simple, nice guy. In fact, it's sort of a paradox that Kessler is so good a boxer.
The interest in me at the moment is huge, and I never thought of that, not my dreams. And yes, this is the biggest fight for me. So many people is gonna be there watching around the world, and so I have to do the best I can to show them that I'm the world champion.
Back live at ringside in Cardiff, Wales, if Kessler, who for reasons you might have observed there has been called by some the Oscar de la Hoya of Europe, is the emerging force here, Calzaghe, the proven commodity at age 35, admits that he is headed toward, if not indeed out the boxing door after this fight. He labored for years in relative obscurity against unknown opposition before getting what was supposed to be the acid test a year and a half ago against American Jeff Lacey. He annihilated Lacey. In the wake of that, some in boxing thought that he might evade the younger, stronger Kessler in favor of looking for American opponents like Bernard Hopkins. But to Calzaghe's credit, he told his promoter Frank Warren earlier this year that he was eager to fight Mikkel Kessler regardless of the risk. And in doing so, he gives this small nation a moment of electricity it will not soon forget.
The sun rises in Cardiff, historic capital of Wales. But already the city bustles with activity. As in just 4 days, the pride of Wales, Joe Calzaghe, takes on Denmark's Mikkel Kessler at Millennium's